Welcome to the Dump Him podcast, discussing all things modern day dating, learning to love yourself, and when you should just dump him, or her, or them. Hi guys, welcome back to the Dump Him podcast.
Hello everybody, I'm Kitty.
And I'm Francesca.
How you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. We've got an exciting guest on, haven't we, Franks?
We do. We are really excited to bring this episode to you guys this week. We are going to be joined by Lily Walford from Love with Intelligence. She's an international dating coach and an expert in behavioural profiling, amongst a range of other things. And she basically uses psychology to coach people around dating, but there's just like so many interesting areas within that. So we're really excited to have her on and pick her brain about her areas of expertise and all of the things that myself and Kitty can use a bit of help with in our love lives. So yeah, I think it's going to be a great episode.
I'm super excited. So excited, actually. We're going to dive right in.
Right in now.
Enjoy.
Alrighty, welcome to the show, Lily. Thanks so much for joining us. Please introduce yourself, let the listeners know what you do. We'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Well, first off, thank you for having me. My name's Lily Walford. I am a relationship and dating coach, and I specialise in body language and behavioural profiling.
Nice. That's such a cool job. How did you get into that? Like, what made you want to specialise in that?
Yeah, well, believe it or not, my background originally was in accounting.
Oh, wow.
So completely different. So I actually worked for international companies, Fortune 500 companies.
Wow.
And so it was a huge change. But when I was 19, I found myself in this like awful, very narcissistic relationship. And, to the point where I was even stalked for 5 years afterwards. It was like, oh my gosh. I kind of found myself going through this pattern of like, okay, one narcissistic relationship, another kind of toxic relationship, another toxic relationship. And it wasn't until I had this massive breakup. So I was living in a great house with a great guy and 2 brand new cars on the drive. We both had very successful jobs, all these different things. And that just suddenly broke down with one weekend when I wasn't expecting it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, when you get those moments where you get that text, it's like, we need to talk. It's like, oh shit.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
The worst.
Yeah. So I had to, like, within a weekend, that was it. I had to move cities, move jobs, move everything. It was like, oh gosh. So I knew from that point, if I wanted to be able to move on to a new life, I knew I wanted to something better. I knew if I was leading a life that I thought I loved, I want to move on to something absolutely amazing. And also, I didn't want to go through like just another rubbish relationship. I kind of wanted something that was long lasting.
Yeah.
So it got me starting to look into like, what is a healthy relationship? Because it was like, as soon as I understand that, I'm going to be able to find it. That was kind of the idea. So I started going into things like NLP and coaching and hypnotherapy. And I thought, yeah, that's great. But a lot of it that it kind of like, a lot of the things that it touched on was kind of like self-love, self-worth, all those different things. But I found that it didn't, with a narcissistic relationship, it didn't prevent someone from like that to pursue you. So for example, you could have a sheep that had the best self-confidence in the world, but the wolf wouldn't turn around and go, oh, that doesn't look tasty.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So I was like going back to that, like I was single and I'd done all the training within NLP and hypnotherapy and all that on Tinder, of all dating apps. And this guy reached out, and when you get that feeling like, yeah, I'm just really not feeling this, you think, yeah, okay, after a few messages, like, do you know what, this is not right. And so ended that conversation, thought nothing of it whatsoever. I think he dropped me a message the next day, didn't respond. And it wasn't until the day after, all of a sudden I had this big bunch of roses sent to my door, like 12 interflora roses, like really expensive roses. And I thought, oh shoot, this guy's only got my first name. He's only got pictures from my profile, and he's somehow managed to find out where I live.
Oh
Great. And at the time, one of my friends was working for a guy called Chase Hughes. So he's our world leader in behavioural profiling. And I knew they kind of knew like a lot around the psychology and how to keep people safe. And it was kind of like military level intelligence. So I knew that this stuff was, something that you could actually rely on, real world experience. Mm-hmm. And so I sent all the screenshots over, and all of a sudden I got all the download from Chase saying, okay, these are the things that you need to do in order to keep yourself safe and also to stop this guy from wanting to pursue you.
Wow.
And yeah, it was so cool. So the thing that was really interesting as well, I didn't have to turn around to him and say, stop pursuing me, that was wrong, that was awful. I got to go through like these different techniques that stopped him wanting to pursue me anymore. Because the thing is, one thing that people don't tend to understand about narcissists is if you block a narcissist, it creates a game. All of a sudden it's like, okay, how else can I find you? How else can I reach you? So, for example, one of my ex-boyfriends, he literally, like I said, he stalked me for 5 years. So he was reaching me out on my mobile, which I blocked him on. He was reaching me out on emails. He was bringing three of his girlfriends down to recreate photos 100 miles. He traveled 100 miles to recreate photos that he'd taken with me, with his three girlfriends. Yeah, but this is like the way this mind works. It's like this game, and you need to diffuse the game. So I've had one person, this is really random, I remember blocking them on, this is a work colleague of all people, but I remember blocking them on my phone, blocking them on LinkedIn, blocking them on Facebook. And then, I don't know whether it's still available, but do you remember like the Google Steps or the Google Fit?
Yeah,
so it's a little bit like Fitbit. It's like a health app. And all of a sudden I got a challenge from that person. So-and-so challenges me to 10,000 steps after I blocked him on everything.
That's insane.
Yeah. So this is the thing. It creates this game. So you kind of need to ensure that you know how to disengage with this game. So you're not you're not attractive anymore to pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I learned that, I was like, I need to know this. I need to understand this so I know how to date safely myself. But also, I started up my business at that time, and I was like, yeah, I need to know this for my clients. Because one thing that was crazy when I started up, I found out that 2 women in the UK every week are getting killed by their partners or ex-partners.
Oh.
Yeah. Another thing with abusive relationships as well, it's 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men go through physically abusive relationships as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea the statistic was that high.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, it might even be slightly higher because of COVID. I have not checked it since then. So those stats were from 2018, 2019. So it just shows how important that this work is. When you think about relationships, it all forms on trust.
Yeah
All forms on that trust. But what people don't say is, how do you know if you're trusting the right person? Because that's what it boils down to.
It really scares me. I'm not gonna lie, like thinking about dating apps and like how I'll happy-go-lucky just go on a date with someone, and you think, oh my God, like you actually don't know anything about them though, do you?
This is the thing. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I learned about whilst getting into this industry and understanding more about dating, understanding more about guys, have you ever heard of the pickup artist industry?
Yes. Oh my God.
Right, exactly.
Mental. Because did you know what this is?
No.
Yeah, no, Kitty's like completely naive here.
So
I didn't know, to be fair, before either.
I've only seen like the terrible like YouTube videos and TikToks where it's like, I think they're usually guys, I might be wrong, but they're usually guys, and they teach, like coach other guys how to pick up girls, but it's in the most like toxic and misogynistic ways. It's like they just say, have you ever seen like the videos? I don't think this is 100% what they do, but have you seen the videos where like the guy will be walking along the street and he'll try and pick up a girl and she'll say no, and then he'll like get into a Lamborghini and drive off, and then she'll be like, no, wait for me. It's like that kind of like, they always do these like just terrible lines, and they play on. I'm so angry about it. Please feel free to shut me up, but I could talk all day about how like horrific they are and terrifying, because it's like you can get into a woman's psyche, or they talk about like negging, so like being rude to a woman, and then sorry, I mean, you're more of an expert than I am, but I'm just very passionate about it.
I'm glad you know about all this stuff. This is brilliant.
I spend way too much time reading up about this just in my free time.
But the funny thing is, this has been something that's been going on since the 1980s.
No way.
Yeah. So basically, and to be honest, you know, they've managed to perfect it. This is something that, you know, it's not for me, it's not for my clients, because I love long-lasting relationships. But what they do does work, because they actually play on the biology factor. So one thing that they do is they'll actually take a girl, or take a, you know, it could be the other side, but it is mainly men that learn this stuff. They take someone into multiple locations on a date, so you feel like you've known them for longer, because you've got more memories of living in different places, you know, being in different places with them.
What? Yeah. Is that what they've been doing this whole time? It was me just thinking they got bored of one bar and wanted to move to another one. I've always thought that. I've always been like, why are we going somewhere? It's fine in here. And then they're like, no, we have to go else. That's what they're doing to us.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, if they ever talk about a young child in the family that they really, really love and they look after, yeah.
So I'm actually going to have a breakdown. What? Yeah.
I can see this is landing.
Yeah, that's happened.
Oh dear. Yeah, there was another game that a friend shared with me as well. I can't remember it line for line, but there's actually a game that guys will play in order to get women to talk about sex, you know, over messaging, which helps with opening up to asking and sending very dirty pictures.
Oh my God. I didn't know. Do you know what? Hats off to them though, because I just thought they were just doing this on instinct.
Yeah, no.
But I didn't realise that was so like measured from them. That's insane.
Yeah.
Pity, I think you're having a bit of a breakdown over there. Are you okay? Sorry, worried about you.
I'm going on a date again. That's what I've discovered about myself today.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But there's obviously, you know, ways that you can, you know, this is one thing I love about the behavioural profiling and the body language, is because this helps with understanding who's right to trust. That's the important thing.
This is what we need to know.
Yeah.
This is the goal.
You've identified the problem. You're offering a solution. Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, because I think at the end of the day, you don't want to go into a relationship thinking, you know, oh, this is going to be long term. And then all of a sudden the guy just, you know, or the girl just suddenly goes. It's like, okay.
They love to do that. They love to talk about what you're going to name your children, and then the next week they're off. Crazy.
Where are you going on your honeymoon? Yeah.
And then the next thing, this isn't working for me. Really?
Funny that.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, tell you what, I'll go into like 5 things that you can look out for to see if someone's actually lying as well. I mean, there's literally hundreds of ways that you can spot this, but I'll give you 5 because I know we don't have, you know, a crazy amount of time. We want to go into lots of different things. So we'll go into 5 different things that you can go ahead and spot if you're on a date. So you know if someone's...
I need to get a pen. I want to take notes.
So if you know someone that is being actually open and honest with you. So with body language, our bodies will communicate on a subconscious basis. So what this means is we can't control this. Okay, so if even itching our noses means something. Okay, this is how detailed this is.
On my hands.
And that means something. No, I'm joking.
Oh,
no. Yeah, so every time that we even tell a lie, our adrenaline spikes, so it causes stress within the body, and we need to be able to release that in a certain way. So the way that we read this in clusters, usually in clusters of 3, just to make it simple. So to start off with, what you can look at is eyes. So with our eyes, we blink on average about 12 blinks per minute. But when we're really engaged in something, when we're really in a great conversation and we're enjoying something, we will actually slow our blink rate down. But as we become a little bit stressed or disengaged or not really interested, our blink rate will really increase lots. So this can be a great stress indicator to look out for with a couple of others. So another one that we can look out for is, let's try and think, we can look for lip compression. So lip compression is as we press our lips together. So it could be, for example, yeah, my new job is going great. Okay, and we can press our lips together, right?
Yeah.
So what else have we got?
But sorry, so the pressing lips together, is that indicating they're lying?
So what you'd do, you'd read these in 3s. So for example, I'll go through 5 of them. So what you'd be looking for is 3 things all in one go. So as we see, the more we see, the more accurate we can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So another one we can look for is self-soothing. So anything when we put something in our mouth, like a pen or between our nails or a hair or anything like that, we're also looking for that soothing thing. So you think about babies, you know, that's dummies and things like that. It's a self-soothing behavior because they're stressed.
And sorry, I feel really bad interrupting, but
no,
if you're
stop talking in our lesson, I'm trying to learn here.
I'm that really annoying people.
Oh, we've got one of those students.
Yeah.
I'm front row. So putting something in your mouth in terms of a date situation, does that include going for your drink and putting the wine glass?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a barrier. So that's a barrier move. Like, how can I feel safe? I'm putting something in between you and I. Okay.
It's like giving me goosebumps, this. My God.
So yeah, but this is what military operatives would use, you know, like Jason Bourne characters on how to stay safe in life or death situations. This is not university studies. This is like stuff that the CIA kind of use in order yeah, this is real stuff. So another thing is we can look at hands. So when we're feeling relaxed, our hands are usually our fingers extended. So if we suddenly feel stressed, our fingers will actually retract. So they might retract around our arms, they might retract in our lap, okay? And this is another thing that we can look out for. Another one can be something like, let's try and think of a really good one to show. Yeah, another one, when your feet go right under your seat. So it can be a comfortable thing, but what it can be, if you're looking at baseline behaviour, is if you're talking and suddenly your feet go under your seat, it can be suddenly retracting information and retracting from that conversation. Because we often find with our feet, we tend to point our feet towards people that we're actually interested in. So it can be extending our legs, staying comfy, that kind of thing. It shows that we're more engaged and wanting more of that person. So how to use this? So for example, if you're on a date and you turn around to your date and you say, yeah, do you know what? I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I'm not interested in sleeping around. What about you? And they go, yeah, I'm actually really interested in a long-term relationship.
Ooh,
right?
I spotted that.
Yeah, you can see all those different behaviors. So all of a sudden, you have got all this information to make an informed decision. Because
that's so interesting. This has blown my mind.
Yeah, me too. My God.
Good.
I feel like Chrissy and I speak a lot with each other and on the podcast about the right questions to ask, like, how to speak to somebody and how to communicate. But I feel like the part that we've always been missing is getting the actual truthful answer, because people, male or female, will always say what they think or know that you want to hear. So it's so interesting to hear that there's actually a way to like break down that barrier and see what they might really be meaning. when they say these things. And you're so right, it's an informed decision about how much of yourself you want to, how much of your time and energy you want to spend on somebody if with all these things in place. It's so interesting. I'm mind blown.
Good, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, because I think the most important bit for me was dating ethically, because I felt like when I was dating before I knew all this stuff, it was like just going out there and gambling, like hoping someone's going to be honest, hoping that this is going to be someone that I could trust. And I just didn't want to do the gambling anymore. I wanted to be able to say, right, okay, yeah, you're someone I can trust, you're someone that I feel safe with, you're someone I can confide in, those bits. And it helps you to really enjoy a relationship. Because have you ever been in with someone and it's been like, oh, do you know what? I don't know whether they're really interested. I don't know whether they're really attracted to me. I don't know whether they're actually thinking long term. And you really struggle to be present with that person then. It's almost like, oh, do I lean back? Do I stay away? Do I stop myself from showing affection to this person? Mm-hmm. Especially when we can feel those feelings coming up. I can see Kitty like, yeah.
Every past relationship is flashing through my eyes right now.
Yeah. So, but what it does, like, you know, when you know that you're with someone who's completely open and honest with you, you can suddenly relax. You can suddenly enjoy that relationship. I mean, I remember meeting my partner now, and we met literally we got together 3 weeks after I learned all the behavioural profiling, which was quite fun. And, the time when he actually turned around to me and said, I love you. And I could see that was real. And I could see that person was actually being completely honest and open. Oh my gosh.
That's so nice.
It was like, wow. Like, I wasn't expecting to feel like so emotional. Like, so like, wow, this is real. And this is the other part that I love about it, is it creates that intimacy. When you have that trust, when you have that openness, when you have that connection, you're able to have that real intimacy where you can feel safe within that relationship, knowing that someone has got your best interests at heart.
Lily, I don't know how you've done it, but in 20 minutes, you've made me gone from I never want to date again to I can't wait to be on a date again.
Me too.
That was remarkable. I want to go put this into practice.
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, I go, well, I'm glad I managed to take you on this emotional roller coaster anyway.
There's been lows and there was highs. We've gone through it all. Oh, that's wow. That's amazing. I think that's like such a, because I mean, again, another thing that myself and Kitty have both been saying is like the thought of getting into a relationship now is really stressful, because we've both been really hurt in the past by people saying one thing, doing a different thing. And so I think the thought that you could actually have real, genuine trust because you actually are convinced by what the person is saying, by their body language, it's like a revelation. It's a game changer. It's crazy.
I mean, I always said, I would look at actions and not words, but ironically, I didn't actually know what the actions were that I was looking for. So now I have the right actions. I know what to look out for when they're lying, because I feel like I've been in so many situations like, yeah, I love you, yeah, I want to be with you, yeah, but then actually they don't speak to me for 48 hours or don't return my texts, and they go off and do something else, or I try to speak to them about a problem and they're not listening and learning, but yeah, I really want to be with you. And so even from that, I was like, I need to stop actually listening to what people say. But then going back to what you've just explained, it would be so nice to be able to hear someone say something and actually believe it and know it is true. Because I feel like I have such a block in my brain at the moment to I do not believe anyone. Unless you show me.
You want to take me for a drink? Sure, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've totally been there. I remember, so the guy that was stalking me for 5 years, when I went to date for the first time after him, I remember going back to this guy's flat, and we'd been dating for a little while. And the first thing I thought of was like, okay, what are the locks on the back of the door? If I need to run and get out, can I do that?
Oh my God.
So so like when you've been hurt, when you've had your heart hurt, you know, you're looking for ways all the time to stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
How can I hold this person away? How can I figure this person out before they figure me out? That tends to be like the game that goes on within dating. But what tends to happen is you have the best version of you, the best version of the other person. So you've got two actors going on here, trying to make this genuine relationship, genuine connection, when they're not quite being themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, well, if you're not being yourself and the other person's not being themselves, how are you making that authentic, genuine connection?
This is what they say about 3 months, though, isn't it? It's actually the true person comes out after 3 months. And I swear all my relationships have averaged 4 months. And I've been like, nah, not for me.
This is the thing where we, this is where the behavioural profiling comes in, because we can profile someone within 6 minutes. So rather than being able to go through 3 months, because like you said, it's that 3 month period of like, okay, are you who you say you are? And sometimes that honeymoon period can stretch out to even a year, depending on who you're with. Yeah. So imagine being with someone for a whole year and suddenly finding out they're not quite the person they said they were. And suddenly you can change that within 6 minutes.
Oh my God, please.
6 minutes.
Wow. Lily, tell us.
So with this, I mean, I can give you the outline because it's quite intricate, but the outline of this is understanding someone's needs and fears. Now, why this is important is because our behaviours are driven by needs and fears, even down to the type of shampoo and conditioner we use. It's actually driven down to needs and fears. Like, for example, toothpaste. You know, when we buy some toothpaste, we buy it because we don't want bad breath, because we're going to be people are going to take the mick out of us and suddenly go, oh, you're gross. Versus having fresh breath and feeling confident and feeling good. So we're having a look at those needs and fears, the fears of being rejected and the need of being accepted. So this is the way this works. So from that, we can actually predict someone's behavior. So when we can do that, we can understand if someone's actually compatible or not, whether people are going to clash or whether people are going to actually be able to be compatible to give each other what they both need.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it just, like I said, it just takes the guesswork out of dating. Because when you don't have the guesswork there, you can fully enjoy it. You can be fully present within it, and it changes things.
I'm speechless. I don't have any words. I'm like, I never get like this, but
especially both of us. People can't get us to be quiet. Okay, so Lily, what is your then current take on dating apps and the world of dating that we're in currently? I mean, sort of in the lockdown state and also when we're hopefully out of the lockdown state.
Yeah, so online dating, I almost refer it to a jumble sale.
yes,
it's almost like, okay, I need to rummage through, where's all the good things? So what I'd say is look at your approach when it comes to dating. So every client I work with, oh gosh, there's two things here actually. So, right, okay, I'll go with the first thing. So every client I work with, I will say to them, what is it that you're actually looking for? What type of relationship are you looking for? What type of partner are you looking for? And I don't mean 6'2", dark eyes, dark hair, really freaking tall.
you were right. You were hitting the nail on the head there.
Yeah, he'll do.
Full stop. No other requirements. I haven't thought further than that at all, to be quite honest.
Yeah, but when we start to look at the things like, okay, loyal, trustworthy, honest, someone who's like, for me, I love psychology, so my partner's very again, loves psychology, but there's different areas of psychology, and I concentrate on 6 areas within the compatibility matrix that we've created in order to make sure that someone's actually entering a relationship that lasts. But why we look at this list is because if I sent, like, for the best metaphor to explain this, if I sent someone in to a supermarket and they're absolutely starving and they're about to go ahead and do their weekly shop, and you know what, there's this amazing, I don't know, chocolate fudge cake that is there and it's on sale and it's there ready for you to freaking just go for it, okay? You'll probably leave with that chocolate fudge cake. It's going to feel so good eating it. And then you're going to really regret it afterwards because you realize, oh God, I've got no substantial meal throughout the rest of this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got your list, you're able to go in there, get all the things that are really good for you. You're going to feel really good for the long term. You're going to feel really good throughout that week. Like, yeah, I've got all my meals. I've got the things that I need. I'm going to feel really good. So it helps you to identify the things that you actually need in a relationship and also in a partner, because there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and going, something's missing. Do you know what? Yeah, sex was great, but
I actually don't really like speaking to him.
I don't know his name.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to mention is one of the things that I say to my clients as well is, you know, once I identify the right kind of partner for them, is I say, right, if I actually said to you, here, I have got your perfect partner here. Okay, there you go. Are you ready for him? Yeah, Kitty's like, no. And this is the other thing. It's actually being in a place where you're actually fully ready, not only to give love, because that's easy, but also to receive it. I love this reaction.
Lots to think about with that one.
The thing is, like, even if my perfect guy was there, I feel way too young. I feel like I still got so much more of like single Kitty to live and do before, you know, and I just want a sneak peek. And then I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll see you in the next 5 years.
I just want to put him in the waiting room.
Yeah.
So I can do my thing when he's still there. It's just the prospect of like, oh God, what if I never find him?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's not so much, okay, what does a single version of me want? It's more of, okay, how big is this fear of the right person being out there actually exists?
Oh.
So when we have a big fear, don't get me wrong, single's been great. You know, being single is great. You can have so much fun, go and enjoy it. But sometimes what tends to happen is when we have this big fear of, oh, do you know what? Can I actually do it? I mean, think about it in terms of your work goals or career goals. Like, oh, I want this big career. If you don't feel like you're able to do it, you're going to go, well, actually, I won't go for CEO, but it'd be great to be, I don't know, the marketing manager or the sales team manager, and you'll look at putting yourself down for a little bit. So you won't go for that big goal. So what I tend to find is if you had the actual clarity and the confidence to be able to do it, would that change it?
The clarity and the confidence to get to the top, you mean? Essentially.
Yeah.
So if you knew that you would be able to do it, would you keep that as your goal? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you knew that you were able to find a guy and the right guy for you at some point, you'd keep that as your ultimate goal.
Yeah. If you knew how to do it, I'm not being funny. Like, eating chocolate bars is great.
Yeah.
Having sex is great.
Yeah. Being in love is great.
Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, if you feel like you can't quite reach that love piece, we suddenly go, oh, do you know what? I'll just settle for the Mars bars rather than a nice meal.
I do that because, sorry, I don't mean about like this, just the sex side of it, but I think because I feel like when I was a bit younger, I used to be very like, there's someone for everyone. So everyone's got the one and you'll find them.
I totally get you.
Yeah, and now I feel a bit old and cynical. I mean, not old, but older and cynical because I'm like, I don't really believe in love at first sight. Maybe there's, maybe there's people that are for you, but you just sort of have to like compromise and settle because that's all a bit like rom-com films and a bit of a fairy tale story. And I think that's probably because I've had these bad experiences that I'm like, okay, well, realistically, no one's gonna be perfect because I thought the past ones were, and they were not. So it's interesting to think like that. I guess, yeah, it would be nice to know if you could do it. It's just a big question mark for both me and Kitty at the moment, for sure.
Yeah. And I think definitely as a starting point, it's just going into what is it that you really, really, really want? What is it out of that relationship that you really, really want that's going to work with you? And also have a look at the experiences that you've had so far and say, right, what are my deal breakers? Is it someone who's just self-obsessed? Is it someone who's an alcoholic? Is it someone who takes drugs? I'm just like putting a few deal breakers out there. It gives you an idea. Someone who's rude to family members. But think about the deal breakers that you have learned from your previous relationships, because that can give you so much information of what not to accept in future.
Do you think, for anyone who might be listening, because I think some of my deal breakers would be like, I don't know, if a guy like goes on a night out and doesn't like not text me the whole time, but like doesn't make me feel comfortable about the situation, because I've just had experiences in the past where guys would go missing for 24 hours and all of those things would make me feel uncomfortable. Do you think, because I've then kind of come to a point to worry that I expect too much, and I think a lot of like, especially women nowadays, when you've been like hurt in the past, you think, oh god, can I really ask that of somebody if all of these guys have made me feel like that was an unreasonable ask? Do you think that you can kind of comfortably say like, no, that's not too big of an ask? There will be someone out there who's right for you, who has the right personality, who like takes that on board?
Yeah. So one thing I say is about a healthy relationship is the 4 C's. So this is something, again, that I've created, where you've got the compatibility, you've got the consideration of each other and the relationship, you've got the way that you collaborate together, so the way that you work together, and also communication. So for me, because I also went through quite bloody awful relationships, and even though that I'd done a lot of the healing, like you said, you can feel a little bit insecure at times. So, I've been in situations where I've turned around to my partner and said, do you know what, I actually feel a little bit insecure about X, Y, Z. And great. So we start open a conversation. Okay, so what is it that you need to be able to feel safe? Okay, so I've noticed you've done this. So what can I do in order to make you feel a bit more comfortable? What is it that you need? So when you start having that open discussion, then it makes things easier. So for example, night out. So it might be like, oh, do you know what? I just need a text to know what time you're going to come home, or give me an idea of roughly what time you're coming back, so I know. Or, drop me a text so I know that you're okay around 10ish. So it's doing those things. So it's actually finding out the things that you kind of need in order to make, to make you feel, both safe and also wanted in a relationship. Because that also builds up that trust, that also builds up that intimacy. And also, when you realize that both of you are being considerate of each other, you're also having that open communication, and you're also using that to collaborate to make the relationship stronger, you can feel safe then.
And I think so much of it also comes from the other person, because you can do all those things. You can say, look, I feel uncomfortable about this, open the discussion, be honest. And it's actually how they respond, react, and then act that will be the make or break of how that's going to end.
Exactly. So the thing is around collaboration. So, because this is what this kind of is, you both, in order to collaborate and work well together, you both have to be accountable for your actions and your emotions. Because if both people aren't accountable for their emotions and actions, how can you collaborate? Okay, and then that will also go back to that compatibility. So, you know, have they got the ability to be, you know, that's basically, have they got the right emotional intelligence to be able to be with you where you're not going to get hurt in that relationship?
No. From just personal experience, they haven't.
Yeah, exactly. So, but the other side of that is as well, yeah. So as long as you're open to be accountable for your side and also know what you need and to be able to communicate that, you've done everything you can. Because I think a lot of people, like you were saying, you know, tend to hold on to that responsibility of not keeping that relationship together when the other person wasn't doing their bit.
Yes, and I also think we put a lot on ourselves to communicate. So we think, oh, I've got these insecurities in the past, I need to like cushion the blow and soften them and make them palatable for the other person so that he doesn't have to change too much about himself, because I just have to take him as he is because I'm lucky to have him. But actually, I think from what you said about like looking at body language and like trying to understand actually more about a person, we can say no to people. We don't just have to date everyone that comes along and is interested and adapt ourselves for them. Like, they might not be right and compatible for us.
Yeah, exactly. So it's making sure that you're actually saying, do you know what? I'm opening up this boyfriend spot in my life who's actually going to be worth the wait, who's actually going to be compatible with me, who's actually going to be able to have this healthy, loving relationship with me. Because I think sometimes when we're in the moment, and, you know, like going back to that chocolate cake analogy, when you've got someone saying, oh, you're gorgeous, you're so intelligent, I really want to take you on a date. Oh, God, it's bloody hard work saying no.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think a lot of the time I'm like, oh, but he could be the one.
Exactly.
I don't want to miss out.
Time. I just need to get to know him better.
Yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah. So the funny thing is with that, so when we start talking ourselves into that, we already had that gut instinct that something's not right. So, oh yeah, that hit home. I saw that. That was awesome. Okay, so what tends to happen with this is our gut instinct will actually tell us so much, and what our gut instinct works from is body language or words or certain types of language. So we start to actually recognize that there's a threat, but we're unable to say, okay, this is exactly what this is. This is why I feel this way. So when we actually start to notice that gut feeling, the first thing I'd be starting to do is actually have a look at the body language and have a look at certain language patterns. So I can see if that person's being open and honest, because even language patterns can give you an idea if someone's being open and honest. I mean, in America, I don't know whether you guys have heard of this one, but there's that saying of, I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes.
So, and that actually tells me volumes. I can see that that person's lying from just that language pattern.
Wow.
So, yeah. So what happens with gut instinct is that from a child, we're actually told to ignore it. So that voice in your head is often your parents that's telling you, or your internal dialogue is your parents. So when you're having that thing of like, do you know what, he's not quite right, or something's not quite right here, you're having your internal dialogue as your parents going, no, they're lovely, come on, just take some time to get to know them. Okay,
right,
they're family, they're fine.
I'm blaming them for all of the relationship problems. It was never me, it was all you.
Right.
Lily said it was your fault.
But you can start to see like why you started to talk yourself into that relationship rather than actually listening to your gut instinct.
Damn. So, okay, so to move forward in a relationship or dating situation, should we look at it in the way of, we have no doubts? I mean, I always went on the, if you don't know, it's a no. And I feel like that's where I don't know. So then I start talking myself into it, which, as you just said, is probably my gut feeling going, no, it is a no. Stop. So if we're pursuing something, or we're thinking, let's keep dating, we need to go on the basis of not having any doubts about it. Is that
so? Yeah. So what I'd say is it comes back to that informed decision. So if you're having doubts about something, so I've recently helped a friend who thought that, this person, she thought that this person was cheating on her. It was a very early stage relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about like making that informed decision, because in those situations, if you're feeling a little bit like, oh, there's something off, you don't want to suddenly say no to that person because of past experiences and basing it on your own like internal interpretation of it. You want to be able to say, right, okay, well, this is actually happening. This is actually going on. And I can say, right, that person's actually safe for me to be with, or that person isn't safe.
Yes.
So we actually my partner and I actually went through all the text messages to give her the lowdown, because again, like I was saying, with that statement of like, I did not have sexual relations with that woman, we can read volumes from just that. So the way that you structure your sentences will give you an idea of whether that person is being completely open and honest as well.
So you can read from text messages
Yeah.
between people if someone is cheating.
Yeah.
Can I send a few over? I really wanted to know, I had a gut feeling the whole time, but
Oh my
go for
God.
Yeah.
oh my God, that's mad. Lily, you're like out of this world. This is
I didn't know people could do that.
Yeah, so this is like this boils back down to the work that I've done with Chase Hughes and the way that we have utilized it for the dating world, because we're talking, we're using like $30 million worth of US government research to be able to do this. So like I said, this is
incredible.
not like this is like not university studies. This is not theory. This is stuff that actually keeps people safe in life or death situations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we haven't got too much time left, but Lily, if there are 3 things you can recommend to us and the listeners going forward in our dating lives, which is quite difficult at the moment, what would you say either the 3 things that we should, I don't know, something to look out for, something we can do to make ourselves more attractive, or anything like that?
Yeah, okay, so 3 things. God. Okay.
They can be short, sorry. They can be short. I don't want to burden.
Okay.
It's probably quite difficult to boil all that research down to 3 things.
Yeah, each should be worth 10 million.
Yeah, so okay. So to start off with, I would say be clear on what you are looking for. Okay, so if you're not sure on what you're looking for, you're not going to end up with what you want. Simple. Okay. So write out that list. What sort of person do you want to be with? What sort of relationship do you want to have? Where do you see that relationship going? Are you still living in the same country? Are you living in different places? What is it? What does it actually look like? The other side of it, I would say, from that, I would say have a look when you're going through a dating profile. Have a look and see from the photos, because you can even read so much from the photos. We've got someone on our team who can literally read from 3 photos whether someone's like a murderer or not. It's freaking insane. But you can see from a photo what sort of lifestyle that person's living. So it's like, okay, this person's picked these particular photos to share with people. What are they actually telling you? Great. So they've got pictures of them on holiday. They love to travel. Or, oh, there you go. They've got loads of pictures of them with their tops off. Nice. Okay, so they like to go to the gym. What are they showing you? Because that's going to tell you a lot about their lifestyle. So then you can turn around and say, right, well, I'm someone who loves to Netflix and chill. Seeing that person constantly running and at the gym and all the rest of it, no bloody way.
That's what I do. I'm like,
yeah,
he's got a running pic and he's always doing a race or a marathon. No, you're not for me. Sorry, we're not on the same page.
Yeah, you just stand there whilst I eat my bar of chocolate. And the other thing, I think when you go into a relationship, be open and honest with yourself and the other person. But I think it's really important to be open and honest with yourself first, because sometimes we talk ourselves out of our own emotions or talk ourselves out of our own decisions. So when we do that, that's when we end up in trouble. So whether it's going, I'm fine, and actually it's like pissed off that you haven't even bothered telling them, or whether it's you've got that gut instinct of that person's not quite right for me, but you know what, I'm going to see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So having that honesty with yourself first.
Okay, so say they've done something that you're like, ugh, that just kind of annoys me.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you said, you put back like, oh, it's fine, don't worry about it. That's not being honest with yourself. Okay, or them, ironically, but okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got
So
you.
it's almost like, okay, so what is it about that that's actually pissed you off? What are you feeling?
And do you recommend sort of saying that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because how do you fix things if they don't know what to bloody do?
True. That's so true.
So it's almost like always looking at that outcome. What is it that you want from that communication? Is it you don't want them to, I don't know. I try to think of a really good
Leave the
example.
toilet seat up.
Oh,
Perfect. So if you want to turn around to them and say, look, I don't like you leaving the toilet seat up. It pisses me off. You know, be clean, put the seat down. Otherwise, one evening I'm going to get lost and you're going to find me down the freaking toilet. You know. So, you know, and it's okay to have a bit of fun with it. It's okay to say little bits and pieces like that. You know, relationships are not all serious. They're that flirty, fun, just connectedness. That's what you want. So it's okay to even talk to people in that way too.
Wow.
okay. And really quickly, last question, sorry.
Okay.
On dating apps, so if you're just in the talking stage, right, and you're thinking, okay, yeah, let's see, would you recommend sort of just meeting up with them quite quickly just to see them as a person? Because obviously people on text can be quite different to people in real life. Or do you recommend actually, no, do your due diligence, you know, be speaking to them for a while, check their social media, whatever, and then
yeah, so there's a few different things, because in particular, if you have someone who's narcissistic, first thing that they want to do is actually move the relationship really quick, because what they're looking for you to do is to comply. They're always looking for control, compliance, control, compliance, control, compliance.
That makes so much sense now.
Yeah, so for a narcissist, the worst thing that you can say to them is no. So I would actually, to start off with, is actually look at those narcissistic traits. So if I say no to someone, what are they going to do? Right? Even in business, if I say to someone, okay, go ahead and book a call with me, and I know that if they're narcissistic, they'll turn around to me and say, oh, something on the lines of, call me right now, or do this, or do that. And I'll say, no, it's okay, book through the link. And they won't do it. So a narcissist will always stand their ground. Someone who also, you know, we were talking about the negging. Look out for things where you're being put down or overly love bombed. So if you're finding yourself going, oh, do you know what? Only stupid people think that way. Or I'm just so intelligent. Not everyone gets that.
Yes.
Right, okay. And
I've quite a few of these, and the more that you say, the more I'm like, oh, and him as well, and him also. Yeah, he did that. I'm like,
yeah,
and also empathy. So a little bit about empathy. I know I've got a lot of time, so I'll do this really quick. Narcissist, a genuine clinically diagnosed narcissist, actually has the empathy part of the brain is underdeveloped. And I've recently uncovered a lot of the science behind that recently in a video. But so what I'd be looking for as well, if you're telling someone a sad story or even a really happy story, you will notice the facial expressions or even the language that they're using back will have that empathy in it. So one thing with empathy is we see it on the face. Okay, so like we can do it via language, but if you're in a situation with a narcissist, you can tell if they're narcissistic or not because they won't mirror your face. So if I tell you like a really happy story, you know, you're all going to smile, you're going to feel good and all those different things. But if you told narcissists that, the expression, they'll copy it because they've learned how to copy it to fit in social situations. But the facial expression will drop off the face. A little bit like, you know, when you've smiled at someone that you really dislike and they've looked over and you've gone, and then it's gone. Right, that's ingenuine. So narcissists do exactly the same thing with all their facial expressions when it's not genuine. That comes from empathy.
It's blown my mind.
Good.
Incredible. It's so interesting. I can't even explain. Like especially, I mean, I know the pair of me and Kitty, we've had some terrible dates and terrible quote unquote relationships, if you could even call some of them that. So it's so interesting to know that that was just an inherent trait in them. And it definitely wasn't anything we could have done at all. We were perfect.
I was thinking today, I was like, it must be me. I must be the problem here because it's all ending exactly the same way.
And the funny thing
is, common denominator.
Yeah, the funny thing is, as women especially, men not so much, but women especially will try and take on the responsibility of, how to fix the relationship or how to make it right, or what did I do wrong and why did he leave me and all these different things. So you'd be looking automatically to problem solve around how to fix your dating life.
And I love problem solving. I'm probably like, yes, a failed relationship, give me a problem.
So after you break up, she's constantly going over all the different scenarios.
Oh yeah, she really does. Yeah, in like 10-minute long voice.
Thanks.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like that you
overanalyze everything.
No, it's that's also in our nature. That's fine. That's fine.
We talk things through a lot. We find therapy in each other. I think just discussing things to the end.
You've like blown my mind and baffled me too much, though. I'm scared to admit to stuff now in case that's going to be the wrong thing. I'm like, everything isn't real. I know.
Oh gosh, no! I think best policy being an open book, because you can literally make all those informed decisions, and also you can feel like you can connect.
Yeah. That's what would be nice right now, a genuine connection. That's all I'm looking for.
Yes.
I don't need a husband. It's fine. Oh, I joke. Okay, should we do the pet peeve now? Lily, we have a little jingle. Very little.
Really, a jingle and everything.
It's really professional and polished.
Every guest gets really excited by this, and they hear it and they're thinking, "Oh, okay." But anyway, are we ready? Pet peeve. That's it.
She came up with that by herself, by the way. Like the first time we ever did it, she just
it wasn't hard.
Spontaneously did it, and it stuck for 2 series now.
People love it. We get lots of comments on the pet peeve.
Go on, do it again.
Pet peeve.
Love it. Yeah. Short, sweet, to the point.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Everyone knows what's coming next. Perfect.
Yes.
So Lily, if you would like to share your pet peeve.
Oh gosh. Okay. Pet peeve. Okay. This kind of stays on topic as well.
Oh, great.
So, have you seen those things of say those 10 things and he will fall in love with you? Have you ever seen that? Like, that is the worst thing in the freaking world to me. Like,
you mean the ones where it's like, because Kitty actually did one of those as an experiment for the podcast.
I did. What did I do? 36 questions.
Answer these questions.
No, 36 questions. They are brilliant.
Oh, okay.
I love those. Okay. They are awesome because there's really cool psychology behind it. But there's certain people in the industry that actually use scripts in order to be able to get their relationship going. And no, if you feel like you can't be yourself in a relationship, please don't be in that relationship.
What are these script things though? What kind of things are they to say?
I've seen a few of them. So one of them is like, I believe in you. It's like,
if someone said that to me, I'd be like, there's the door, you're gonna have to leave immediately. That's
oh yeah, there's loads out there, but I think it's like, what happens when you run out of scripts? Can you imagine just repeating the same 10 lines over and over again? Like, it's almost like being with one of those like squeeze teddies kind of thing, and you wait for the next line to come out.
Oh my God. Be like, and he's still not fallen in love with me. What must be wrong?
20 years later, no.
Yeah. Still saying the same 10 things. It's not worked. Okay, perfect. Well, we will not, and the listeners, please do not go and say 10 things.
Why would you get a relationship like that? Surely you'd rather be saying your own thoughts. That's insane. That's
It's
I know.
clever because what happens is it's another, going into the psychology of it, it's another way to keep you safe, because if someone rejects you after you said those 10
Oh,
things,
it wasn't you.
it wasn't you, it was the lines.
Oh.
Sorry, I went a bit deep there, didn't I?
That's okay.
Oh, no, that makes sense. Okay, another thing to learn: don't use the lines.
So just be you.
I think also some people find it hard to be completely true to themselves and truthful all the time. I mean, I'm at the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I can't lie. I physically cannot do it. And people will know immediately if I'm trying to lie, which means I'm like uber truthful and uber trusting, which is also a fault.
Yeah.
But there are people who really struggle to be. I know people who just lie the whole time. That's all they do. They just lie. I don't mean that from exes. I mean exes all been lying bastards. No, in general. So yeah, I think owning a truth and being truthful can be hard for some people. So I can fully understand why a script is an easy option to go with.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy option, but not the right one.
Not the right
Love,
one.
you want authentic love. Unfortunately, you've got to be authentic in yourself, haven't you?
Exactly.
So Lily, if any of the listeners have enjoyed the episode, they want to hear more from you, they want to get some more of your wisdom, I know I for one will definitely be needing some more in future. Where can they check you out? What are you up to? Where can we hear more from you?
Yeah, so we've got a website which is lovewithintelligence.com. At the moment on our website, we have got a webinar that kind of dives into the behavioural profiling, dives into the compatibility things that you should be looking out for on how to actually find and attract a high quality partner for you for lasting love. And we've also got a Facebook group. We're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Pinterest, we're also on YouTube, all under Love with Intelligence.
Oh, amazing. I'll definitely be checking you out. But yeah, we'll link your website and your Instagram page in our description box as well, so everyone will be able to find you super easily. But thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, thanks, Lily.
Us too.
I've loved it.
Wow.
That was amazing.
I'm actually speechless. That was so interesting. I feel like I could have sat and spoken to Lily all night. That was insane.
Yeah, hours upon hours of learning this wisdom. Yeah.
I think it
we
could
don't get speechless often, but
like never. Like we never don't know what to say. But so many times in that, I was just like, I can't. I'm just so amazed and just wow.
I'm going to be listening back with a pen and paper probably
Me
about
too.
3 times before I go on the next date.
It's just so interesting. I think these are things that we never think about, and it's just so fascinating. Like I
guess if you don't know them, then you don't know it's there to look out for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But then when you start to hear those things and you think back to experiences that you've been in and you think, oh no, actually that does add up. She's blown my mind. It's amazing.
It's incredible. Lily, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you.
I know we really appreciate it. I think the listeners are going to really appreciate it. Well, I hope they do. If they don't,
I don't know what planet you lot are on, because that was fascinating. I'm amazed. Like I said, you can check out the links to Lily's Instagram and website in the description box of this episode. So if you want to go and check her out, hear any more about what she is up to, or learn any more of her amazing wisdom, I definitely recommend. I'll be doing the same. So go and check her out. And yeah, just very grateful for her to join us and to spend a bit of her time just imparting some of those learnings to us, because obviously a lot of study has gone into all of her expertise. So very grateful for her time for that one.
Big thank you. So we are the Dumpling Podcast.
We are indeed.
You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all other big podcast platforms.
Basically anywhere you can listen to a podcast, we probably are there.
We seem to be on a lot. Yeah,
we are.
It's fine. It's good.
We'll end the shop.
Instagram at the Dumpling Podcast.
I thought you'd forgotten then. You were taking a while to say.
No, I didn't know if that's the at. Yeah, it just feels weird to call the at symbol an at. No?
Huh?
Okay, don't worry. I've become very digitalized.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. At the Jump In Podcast, we have a website, thejumpinpodcast.com. We have a email, thejumpinpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
We have 2 Facebook groups. We have a Facebook page, the Jump In Podcast. We also have Girl Help, the Jump In Podcast, our female-only advice helping group.
Yeah.
And Franks, what else do we have on Spotify?
We have a playlist. Woohoo! This playlist is my pride and joy, and I have trialed and tested it, and let me tell you, it delivers. It genuinely, the last time I like broke things off with someone he initiated the conversation.
Frank's got
I wanted to. No, I didn't get dubbed. I wanted to end it first. I was giving him a chance, which we just learned from Lily was the wrong.
Shouldn't have done.
I immediately, when that conversation was happening, put that playlist on my headphones, and I was living my best life and thriving. So you can find it at TDHP Anthems. It's also linked in our Instagram bio in our link tree. So go and check it out over there. Definitely recommend playing it loud, proud. It's good vibes.
And we are also recently on YouTube, so you can watch all our reactions to this video with Lily, which she was loving.
Yeah, I would probably recommend you watch it there. Obviously recommend you watch it there every time, but this one particularly because there were a lot of facial expressions from myself and Kitty that you probably don't want to miss.
Yes, yeah. Film yourself watching. I'd love to see yours.
I'm self-conscious about how often I'm blinking now.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be like, I'm really engaged.
I promise.
Anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for all the support. We love you all.
We'll be back next week with another episode. Just the 2 of us again.
We're not going to start singing this week.
No, don't worry about that.
Don't worry. Alrighty, guys. Bye.
Bye.